Mr. President, I have some good news for you, and I also have some bad news for you. Which one would you like to hear first? Well, back when I was a boy, my granddaddy told me, he told me, Joe, you have to look at the good in the world. You have to look at what's good. So what is the good news, Ron? Well, the good news is you're going to be a very wealthy man. And now, what's the bad news? Well, Mr. President, you're no longer actually the president. What? How is that even possible? What happened? What kind of malarkey are you trying to pull on me, Ron? This is unacceptable for our democracy. Oh, well, Mr. President, you can ask the new owner of the White House and also the presidency. Here he comes right now. Okay, so first I would like to put the Tesla emblem over here, and then I would like to have the SpaceX logo over here, along with a bust of Muhammad Gandhi right there. That will be beautiful. Huh? No way it can be Elon Musk. Now who told him that he could come in here? Doesn't he know that I'm the president? Well, actually, you were the president. I just bought the White House and the presidency, as Ron just told you. For how much money did you buy it? I bought it for a small sum of $69 billion. And I still have more money to spend. Step aside, old man. You're in my seat. Soon all the American people will have free speech. No, not free speech. That's the end of democracy.
What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 95th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So this week, the left has made something perfectly clear. They hate the idea of freedom of speech. This is some scary stuff because for the past 4 or 6 years, the left has been claiming that they are the ones that are standing up for democracy. They love democracy, and no matter what happens in our world today, they are the ones that will stand up for the truth, no matter what, except if that truth is against their own opinions, and then they will try to ban you. This is what the left likes to do on Twitter. For too long, the left has controlled Twitter, and they've been able to censor who they want. They were able to claim that this story was false, or that this story was Russian disinformation, and that Donald Trump worked with the Russians to steal the 2016 election. Twitter was a leftist playground, where they could do whatever they wanted. Now the playground is under new management, as Elon Musk has officially bought Twitter for $43 billion. And now, all that the left can do is cry and complain about it. Seriously, this week there were so many leftist tears, it could have filled up 6 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And it's all because of Elon Musk and his radical idea of bringing free speech to the platform. To look at all this crying and complaining, let's look at some of the responses from these same people that want to quote-unquote save democracy. Elizabeth Warren wrote on Twitter, "This deal is dangerous for our democracy. Billionaires like Elon Musk play by a different set of rules than everyone else, accumulating power for their own gain. We need a wealth tax and strong rules to hold big tech accountable." So if Elon Musk didn't have a lot of money, then he wouldn't be able to buy Twitter, and he also wouldn't be able to invest in Tesla, which the left loves because it's an electric vehicle company. And when she says that she wants to hold big tech accountable, that means she wants more censorship on Twitter. Sean King, who is a white man that wants to be a black man, claimed that racism was the reason that Elon Musk took over Twitter. As he wrote, "At its root, Elon Musk wanting to purchase Twitter is not about right versus left. It's about white power. The man was raised in apartheid by a white nationalist. He's upset that Twitter won't allow white nationalists to target/harass people. That's his definition of free speech. We will dive into what Elon Musk actually means by free speech, but that there, Sean King, is not what Elon Musk means by free speech. Also, I think that Sean King is a little bit upset because Elon Musk is more African American than Sean King. Along with this, here are 3 videos talking about how terrible and evil Elon Musk is for doing this, because he is such an evil, terrible man.
Twitter, it is predominantly straight white men. So when Elon Musk says, wow, this is about free speech, it seems to me that it's about free speech of straight white men. And so let them have it. Let them just go at it. I enjoy the block button on Twitter. I think it has a real outsized influence in our world because politicians and celebrities are on it.
I think that's an example of a broader question for Twitter, which is, if you get invited to something where there are no rules, where there is total freedom for everybody, do you actually want to go to that party? Or are you going to decide to stay home?
If you own all of Twitter or Facebook or what have you, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates, all of its nominees, or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not even find out about it till after the election. Elon Musk says this is all to help people because he is just a free speech, philosophically clear, open-minded helper.
The last video in that compilation is one of my favorite videos of all time, because that is exactly what the left did for the 2020 election. They banned Donald Trump from Twitter. They want to ban Marjorie Taylor Greene from the ballot in Georgia. And they suppress stories like the Hunter Biden laptop story and claim that it was Russian disinformation. The media is now saying, well, if it's not our guy that's doing it, then we don't want it to happen at all. It's just hypocritical. And then there were the people that were working at Twitter who had a full hands-on meeting where they all sat around and cried. They had a big old cry fest about how Elon Musk is going to destroy the country and how he's going to destroy democracy because he's such a terrible, evil, horrible man. This meeting was led by Twitter's top lawyer, Via Gad. And according to Politico, she became emotional during the meeting. This is probably because she knows that she is going to be fired once Elon Musk takes over, because she is one of the leaders of censorship, as she was the one that decided to block links to the New York Post story talking about the Hunter Biden laptop. She was also the one that banned the New York Post Twitter account after that whole story broke. And in an interview with Elon Musk, he said, suspending the Twitter account of a major news organization for publishing a truthful story was obviously incredibly inappropriate. She was also the one that helped get Donald Trump off of Twitter, along with other right-wing users. This just goes to show that there is a left-wing bias when it comes to Twitter. As according to the New York Post, 99% of online political contributions made by Twitter employees in 2021 went to Democrats. 99%. That is absolutely crazy. Now, here's the thing. These people are allowed to donate to whoever they want to. I don't care. But they may be more favorable to people on the left than people on the right. Say, for example, someone on the left yells at Donald Trump and says he's a big bully. The people at Twitter might not ban that account. But if someone on the right were to say that Joe Biden is a stinky head, then they might be more willing to ban that person. This is why Republicans and conservatives are taking a sigh of relief as Elon Musk takes over Twitter, because they feel like there will finally be fairness on the platform. This is why the left is so angry, because their echo chamber is starting to disappear. And this means that the left has to attack, which is why they are playing their typical game. This person is a threat to our democracy. This person is a racist. This person is a xenophobe. Blah, 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 blah. But what Elon Musk wants to do with Twitter is simple. He isn't going to ban everyone on the left. He isn't going to ban people that are part of a minority group. He literally wants to bring freedom of speech back to the platform. He has said this outright, as in an interview he explained, free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square, where where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. Along with this on Twitter, he dove deeper into what he meant by free speech, as he said, "By free speech, I simply mean that which matches the law. I'm against censorship that goes far beyond the law. If people want less speech, they will ask the government to pass laws to that effect. Therefore, going beyond the law is contrary to the will of the people." This is why the left has been crying so much this week, because Elon Musk has exposed them for who they truly are. People that hate freedom of speech. It's all right there, right in front of our faces. As after Jack Dorsey stepped down as CEO of Twitter, a new CEO named Parag Agrawal took over, and he had some chilling things to say about the idea of free speech and also the First Amendment. As he said, "Our role is not to be bound by the First Amendment, but our role is to serve a healthy public conversation, and our moves are relative of things that we believe lead to a healthier public conversation. The kinds of things that we do about this is focus less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how the times have changed. Focus less on freedom of speech and not being bound by the First Amendment. This is un-American. And when someone says something as un-American as this, then it is time for them to be removed from their post. They need to be fired and replaced with someone who actually stands up for free speech. And that is exactly what Elon Musk is doing. I honestly find it interesting that the left thinks that the right is trying to destroy democracy when they are the ones that are literally saying on Twitter and on the news that having more speech is a danger to our democracy. Do they understand what a democracy is? These radical leftists that have been crying all week need to put their tears away, put them in their back pocket, and save them for another day. There is no reason for you to cry about people speaking freely. And guess what? People are going to be mean. People are going to be rude. But on Twitter, you have a mute button. You don't have to listen to what everyone has to say. You can keep on scrolling. You can turn off Twitter. But the speech is still valid because it is protected by the First Amendment. You don't have to agree with everything that other people have to say. Heck, I don't. But that doesn't mean that a giant corporation has to come in and ban people for saying mean things to people. You can't say that you want to save democracy while also calling for Twitter and even the government to do more to ban people. That is the start of creating a dictatorship where the government can force people to think whatever they want and claim that it is the truth. I wish I could tell you that the only people that want to get rid of freedom of speech are just on Twitter, but they aren't, as this whole situation goes up to the White House. As 2 days after the deal fell through and Elon Musk was able to purchase Twitter, the Department for Homeland Security created a new disinformation governance board. This board will make sure that there is no disinformation when it comes to elections or when it comes to different diseases like COVID-19. They also may be on the internet making sure that you don't say anything that might go against their narrative. This whole governance board reminds me and a lot of people of the Ministry of Truth that was in the book 1984. Apparently, the Biden administration is reading that book as an instruction manual. As in the book, the Ministry of Truth was in control of all the information that went out to the people. The people that worked for the Ministry of Truth were able to literally rewrite history. So if a certain story showed the government in a bad light, they were able to change that story to make the government look good. The Ministry of Truth was also in charge of propaganda, meaning that they sent out different papers or different journals talking about how great the government is and how great Big Brother was. And it led to this dystopian society where if you didn't think the right way, then they would kill you. Or they would break you down until you believed what the government wanted you to believe. Okay, maybe I'm going a little bit overboard, but why else would Joe Biden and the administration want to do this? They are scared of other people having their own opinions. So the best way to stop people from having their own opinions is to claim that it's misinformation and that it's false. The question is, does anyone really know what disinformation is? Is it something that only the government believes? Can we believe what the government says? In a press conference, Jen Psaki said that there has been a lot of misinformation when it comes to COVID-19 and elections. Luckily, I have some examples of those two topics that once were wild conspiracy theories, but are now true. If you go back, we can all remember that the government told us that there was no way that COVID-19 came from a lab in China. If you said this, you were accused of spreading misinformation, and you could have gotten your Twitter banned, your Instagram banned, or your Facebook banned. And then a few months later, it was discovered that it was likely that COVID-19 came from a lab. For the election, it was claimed that Donald Trump colluded with Russia in 2016, but that later turned out to be false as well. Do we really need a government board to watch us on social media and tell us what is and what isn't the truth? Because to me, it doesn't look like the government has done a very good job when it comes to disinformation, misinformation, or spreading false stories. I mean, come on, the people that are trying to tell us what the truth is say that men can be women. Diving deeper into this new governance board, it is run by a woman named Nina Jankowski, who is a Russian disinformation expert who some are now starting to call Big Sister as opposed to Big Brother from 1984. Now, here's the thing. She has also found herself spreading misinformation as well. She is spreading what she has sworn to destroy. As when there were stories coming out about the Hunter Biden laptop, she claimed in an interview with the New York Daily News that we should view it as a Trump campaign product. Later on, we learned that everything about the Hunter Biden story was 100% true, and that Hunter Biden's business partner was having special meetings with Vice President Joe Biden. According to sources, he went to the White House 7 times. But still, Joe will claim that he knows nothing about what Hunter did, and that Hunter is the smartest person that he knows. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but this story is still huge because it shows that Joe Biden is corrupt, and all the other media just decides that it was Russian misinformation, and decided that it needed to be banned. It was important for the election. And now this person wants to decide what's real and what's fake? No thank you. Along with that, just like the new CEO of Twitter, and apparently the entire left, she hates the First Amendment along with freedom of speech, and is a big advocate for censorship. Just last week, she had a meeting with NPR where she talked about Elon Musk buying Twitter, and she said, "I shudder to think about if freedom of speech absolutists were taking over more platforms, and what that would look like for marginalized communities." She continued by saying, "These groups are already shuttered. Disproportionate amount of this abuse," and said free speech and lack of censoring on social media would make it worse. So she wants to make sure that Twitter is a place for more censorship, not less. She wants more people banned, rather than a platform for free speech. Then she wrote an article called "How to Defeat Disinformation, an Agenda for the Biden Administration." She wrote that Biden needs to get into the business of regulating speech. She also called for a more European-style censorship program, which in Europe they call it the Digital Services Act. According to this act, the government will make sure that Google, Facebook, and Twitter are all held accountable for illegal and harmful content on the platform. Now, that last article was written in 2020, and now she has the power to make sure that people are able to be banned on these different platforms for saying something that is disinformation. But we still have no idea what disinformation even is. But she will be the one pushing these different policies. And maybe we will have a new Digital Services Act. And maybe in my lifetime, we will see the First Amendment burned, because apparently that's what this woman and the left want. This is un-American, and it is very bold for Joe Biden to create this Ministry of Truth. If we go back in history, you will know that other authoritarian regimes also created a government agency that was in charge of moderating speech. It wasn't just in the fictional 1984. Germany, during World War II, created the Reich Ministry of Public Enlightenment and Propaganda, and was run by Joseph Goebbels, who was one of the worst people in the history of the world. The Chinese Communist Party created the Publicity Department of the Central Committee. North Korea created the Propaganda and Egnation Department. We all know how these different agencies worked out. Millions of people were killed, and people's rights were stripped away from them. Is this really what we want for America? An authoritarian regime that tells us what to think and what to say? Or a free town square where people can say what they want? I don't care if Elon Musk is a billionaire. If he's making sure that people are getting free speech, then he is better than Nina Jankowski. He is better than the CEO of Twitter. He is better than that lawyer that censored all those people on Twitter. He's better than the people that work at Twitter. And he is better than all the stupid leftists that have just continued to cry and complain all the time because, oh no, freedom of speech is coming. That's a threat to our democracy. No, it's not. If you want to live in a free society, we have to have the ability to speak freely as well. In the end, our founding fathers fought and died to make sure that America was a free country. Now we could be watching a situation where the government is trying to take that away in the fight to save democracy, but in the end, they're the ones that are actually trying to destroy democracy. These radicals are the ones that are trying to get rid of the First Amendment. They are the authoritarians. They are the controllers. This is why Elon Musk buying Twitter is something that we should all be supportive of, because he is the one that will save freedom of speech. But we have to help him out, and we have to stand up for our rights. If we don't, then our country could be lost. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.